60 years ago, local Lumbee Indian leaders determined that they would not suffer the indignity of the KKK led by Catfish Cole. And in the Battle of Hayes Pond, they routed and they completely disrupted a Klan rally that was meant to intimidate, to discourage, and to dishonor a people, a Klan rally that instead became a national story of resistance to the worst kind of racism. Cole ended up in prison, charged with inciting a riot, and the Klan never returned to Robeson County. As Chancellor of UNC Pembroke, I take great pride in the fact that later today we're going to dedicate a roadside historic marker placed by the State Historical Marker Committee. The effort to erect this marker was led by a group of UNC Pembroke students in the history class of one of UNC Pembroke's faculty, Dr. Jamie Martinez. And so two defining moments in the history of the Lumbee tribe come together in a very unique and positive way, combining pride and collaboration.
Chairman Godwin, friends, fellow North Carolinians, on behalf of Governor Roy Cooper and Secretary of Natural and Cultural Resources Susie Hamilton, I bring greetings and congratulations on this, your Lumbee homecoming. I'm Kevin Cherry. I'm the Deputy Secretary of the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. You've maybe not heard of our department, but you have heard of the zoo, the aquariums, archives, state parks, state historic sites, history museums, art museums, science museums. All the good parts of state government are in our department. So I'm happy to work there. I also bring you greetings on this day and on this fine occasion where together we are marking the Battle of Hayes Pond. This is the event where this community rose up for all people, not just Lumbee, but for all people, where this community rose up to say no to hate, no to division, and yes to justice. May it ever be so. The Battle of Hayes Pond is a great event, a great event. This event is so great that it deserves to be memorialized not just in the physical structures, it also deserves to be memorialized in each of our hearts. And it deserves to be a continuing memorial that we all live out in our lives, how we act in our lives. Carve it in stone, yes, that all might know the lessons, but also live it so that others and the rising generations might learn from that lesson, so that all of us might benefit from the lesson of the Battle of Hayes Pond from this time forward. For 80 years, our department and the Department of Transportation has partnered to run the North Carolina Highway Historical Marker Program. And we are here today to unveil the 1,601st Highway Historical Marker in the state of North Carolina. This is the 16th marker in Robeson County. Some of our other markers in this county include one to Governor McLean, another to the Burnt Swamp Baptist Association, the Association of Churches primarily of Lumbee Indians, to Henry Berry Lowry, and others. Some of our recent markers that we have unveiled has been to the very first encampment of the North Carolina National Guard, to the Rosenwald School movement, which was the public-private partnership schools built for African Americans in the state. Our latest highway historical marker that we have unveiled was to the Queen Anne's Revenge, Blackbeard's flagship at Fort Macon State Park. It is very, very difficult to get one of these markers. We have, in some years, hundreds of proposals, and we put up, on average, about 10 markers a year. We have a committee of 10 historians who review the proposals, and what they look for is events of at least statewide significance. Many of our markers mark events of national and international significance, but to get a marker, you have to show that it is of statewide significance. So we have one of the members of that committee here today. Dr. Jamie Martinez is one of the committee members on that committee. She's a professor of history at UNC Pembroke. And not only that, she is the person who came up with the idea that maybe the Battle of Hayes Pond rises to the level of statewide significance to get this marker. So thank you. And her students who did the research to prove that. And they proved that it's not only of statewide significance, they proved that it was beyond statewide significance. What happened at the Battle of Hayes Pond? Members of the local community stood up to the Ku Klux Klan. Those individuals said no to hate, they said no to division, and they said yes to justice. And that was a battle fought for all of us, for the Lumbee, but also for everybody else. And so on behalf of all of us, especially those of us who live in North Carolina, I thank those individuals who were here that night and stood up for the right. And I know we have at least one gentleman here who was here that night. Are there any other individuals here? You want to raise your hand, sir? Okay, and there's one other individual over there.
Yes, cousin.
So there are some students here from Dr. Martinez's class who did the research to prove the historical significance. If you're here and you did that research, raise your hand. All right, well done.
Thank you.
So, what we're going to do now, because we can't leave the road blocked very long, I'm going to ask Chairman Godwin of the Lumbee tribe, Chancellor Cummings of UNC Pembroke, and anybody who was here that evening to step forward and unveil this marker. Then I will do the first reading of the marker, and that will conclude the unveiling. So what I ask is one of you get over here, and you're going to let go of the back and pull down at the front. Okay? Let go of the back and pull down at the front. 1, 2, 3, go. Hey! Battle of Hayes Pond. The Lumbee and other American Indians ousted the Ku Klux Klan from Maxton, January 18, 1958, at Raleigh, 1/2 mile west.
Can we get you in the picture, sir?
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, we will. Just a second.
I didn't know there's so much traffic on this road.
I know. That's good.
Tonight.
Come get me.
Your sister.